go on.
Well, the play is 9/10 removed from the truth. At least 9/10 removed from the truth. I'd never imagined sexually molesting my sisters. You know, I'm a Christian, and I have always been a Christian and gone to church over 1,000 times. And, you know, my mother is an extremely giving person that has selflessly put herself out for the family over the years. And, you know, the psych nurses that I've been involved with are actually on my side to do with not medicating me.
So was there any part of the play that related to your experience with the mental health system?
Yes, the visions of being inside a mental hospital were pretty accurate, you know, about the clinical nature and of the mental hospital and basically nothing in it nothing to do inside. And, you know, the judgment area, as it's called, where they make the decision of whether you stay in hospital for another 6 weeks or 3 months or whatever, is quite accurate. Everybody is well dressed and you're in a nursing gown and, you know, some of the time you're medicated and drugged up and, you know, they've got the better hand of you. Although I stood up to them, I stood up to them. And
what were the consequences of doing that?
Well, I actually spent 5 months in IPCU lockup, their lockup section, when I wasn't allowed out at all, except for 1 hourly cigarettes. And after 5 months, the psych nurses got so fed up with me being there because they thought it was so wrongful that I was there, that they sided with me against the doctors and revolted against the doctors in IPCU and threatened the doctors with a total walkout if I wasn't released immediately.
So what you're saying is that there's additional politics to the politics that are observed in the play. So the mental health system isn't as united as what it's proposed in the play.
I'm saying there are a lot of good people that are misguided. You know, they're misguided by their circumstances that they're in. They want to save their jobs. You know, they want an easy job, so that's why a lot of them chose psych nursing. That's why a lot of psychiatrists choose psychiatry, because it's an easier job far easier than being a GP. And, you know, it came to the crunch and the nurses sided with me against the doctors and revolted, and it gave them an excuse to revolt against the doctors, which they wanted. And, you know, everybody was happy at the end of it.
Right.
So, yeah, and...
But how do you feel about being brought into this whole, you know, because I mean a lot of people live their whole life without a sense of having to be involved with any kind of system, whether it be mental health or anything else. How do you feel about having been dragged into that?
How do I feel about being dragged into what exactly?
Into the mental health system, into a situation where you have become politically involved in the mental health system.
The sad fact about the mental health system is that people are actually suffering from a spiritual malady. It's got nothing to do with the physical side.
Right.
And they're being treated for a physical ailment of the brain. You know, the churches will testify to this, and so will some psychiatrists are in doubt too as to whether or not it is actually a physical ailment at all.
Yeah.
We know for a fact that 99% of people who take medication don't get better on it, they get worse, a lot of them.
Yep.
And a lot of people have been healed of these things through the churches. So the track record speaks for itself. And
there are people who'd say that's crazy too, though.
I think the pharmaceutical companies are behind it largely. I think the pharmaceutical companies offload about $250 billion worth of psych drugs worldwide per year, which is one of their biggest markets. They don't want to let one person out of the psych system, because then under the law they would have to let millions out under the psych system. And they're protecting their interest, they're protecting their profits bottom line.
Yeah, you're probably right, Trev.
Yeah, so the government is going along with that, and the government partly is corrupt. It's purely corrupt.